The old EQB had 190 kilometers, around 118 miles, less range, charged at less than half this speed, and cost roughly the same money. Mercedes didn't update it. They replaced everything underneath it, kept the name everybody recognized, and built the car the EQB should have been from the start. Whether the numbers now justify the badge is what this walkaround settles. One walkaround, everything you need to decide whether this GLB earns its price or whether the range alone isn't enough. The proportions tell the story before a single number does. 48 mm longer than the EQB, 27 mm wider, 14 lower. The stance is more planted than the car it replaces, and the roofline drops just enough to lose the tall, narrow look that made the EQB feel like it was still apologizing for being electric. The star pattern grille with 94 individually lit LED elements is a divisive decision. I find it more convincing in person than in photographs, where it reads as busy. In this blue, with the flush door handles and the full-width rear light bar connecting the star-shaped tail signatures, the design earns its confidence. The rear is the angle Mercedes got right. The connected light strip pulls the width together and gives the GLB a presence that the EQB never had from behind. What the interior gained from the new CLA platform is where the real argument starts, and the numbers in there took me by surprise. The dashboard is flat, minimal, and almost entirely screen when you option the MBUX Super Screen. 3 displays under a single glass surface, 10.25 inches for the driver, 14 inches in the center, 14 for the passenger. The 4th generation MBUX runs on the new MB.OS operating system, and the response time is noticeably faster than the outgoing system. Mercedes brought back a physical rocker switch for adaptive cruise and a volume roller on the steering wheel. That decision alone tells you someone at Mercedes was listening to actual owners. The floating center console sits higher than before and creates a genuine storage space underneath. Material quality in the upper cabin is where the money shows. Soft touch surfaces where your hands rest, clean panel gaps, and the circular turbine vents that have become a Mercedes signature. Lower down, the plastics are harder. You notice it once. At this price, the upper half earns enough goodwill to cover it. The driving position sits higher than the CLA it shares a platform with, which is the correct decision for a family SUV. You see the road clearly. The A-pillars don't crowd your sightlines the way they did in the EQB. And the metal pedals on this spec give the footwell a quality that the old car's rubber items never managed. There is a wireless charging tray ahead of the center console for your phone, tucked neatly out of sight. I didn't expect the front cabin to feel this resolved at this price point. The rear cabin is where the extra 61 mm of wheelbase pay off. Knee room in the second row is genuinely improved over the EQB, and the longer seat cushion provides proper thigh support that the old car lacked. The 40-20-40 split rear bench slides 140 mm, which means you choose between maximum legroom for passengers or maximum boot depth. An optional third row turns this into a 7-seater, and Mercedes says you can fit 4 child seats across the second and third rows. The third row is still strictly for children. That hasn't changed, but having the option at all in an electric compact SUV is something no direct rival offers right now. 540 liters in the 5-seat configuration, around 19.1 cubic feet. Fold the rear seats and that climbs to 1,715 liters, around 60.6 cubic feet. There is also a 127-liter frunk under the bonnet, around 4.5 cubic feet, for cables and smaller items. Towing capacity is 2,000 kilograms, around 4,409 pounds. For a family electric SUV, the practical case is difficult to argue against. 272 horsepower from a single rear-mounted motor, 335 Nm of torque, all of it available from 0 to 100 in 7.4 seconds, around 7.3 seconds to 60 miles per hour. Not fast in any dramatic sense, effortless in every practical one. 632 kilometers of WLTP range, around 393 miles. The 85 kilowatt-hour battery sits on an 800-volt architecture that charges at up to 320 kilowatts. 10 minutes on a fast charger adds 260 kilometers, around 162 miles of range. 10 to 80% takes roughly 22 minutes. That is a coffee stop. You plug in, you order, you sit down. By the time you have finished, the car is ready to leave. The BMW iX1 charges at 130 kilowatts and manages 514 kilometers, around 319 miles, of range. The gap in charging speed alone changes the ownership argument entirely. 59,047 euros. That is the price in Germany. The BMW iX1 starts at roughly 48,000. That €11,000 gap buys you 118 extra kilometers, around 73 extra miles, of range, charging that is nearly 2.5 times faster, a 7-seat option, and a boot that swallows a family weekend without folding a seat. Whether that gap is worth it depends on how you value time at a charger versus money in the showroom. For the family that drives long distances and needs the seats, this is the first electric compact SUV where the EV ownership question has a simple answer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified about my next upload. See you in the next video.